Hi everyone, welcome to Eureka Moments. It's a wonderful episode because we have a very special guest this evening and we feel very honored to have him. He's a man that wears very many hats. He wears many hats. He's a pastor, an accountant, a writer, and he's been in the media as well. A caterer, he caters for people, a carer, a giver, a father, a husband, and so much more. And we have the honor to introduce to you our very renowned Pastor Ituah Ighodalo. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We would like you to just introduce yourself a little bit more so that people can know the reason why we chose you as our guest this season on Eureka Moments. Tell us about where you are right now, or probably the things you're involved in at the moment.
Well, I don't know the reason why you chose me, but I know who I am. My name is Ituah Ighodalo. I'm a chartered accountant by training and profession. I'm a pastor by calling. I'm managing partner of SIO, RSN, arguably the 5th or 6th largest accounting practice in Nigeria today. We merged together in 2004. 2005, after I had been running my own practice since 1987, and we've been working together. I have two other founding partners, Mr. Odiachi and Mr. Smith. Aside from that, I'm also pastor in charge of Trinity House, Lagos, a free-flowing, non-denominational worship center on Victoria Island. And we thank God for what he's doing. I also am chairman of a few companies in Nigeria, some of them quoted, and also chairman of about 14 NGOs. Some I founded, some I was invited to join the board, written a few books, both spiritual, mainly spiritual books, but a lot of secular articles on Nigeria and the situation in Nigeria. People know that I'm very, very passionate about Nigeria and the Africa.
Yes, sir. So you can hear all of that yourself, and now you know the reason why we've chosen him to be our very special guest on Eureka Moments this season. We want to talk about his Eureka Moments because all of that's a lot. We have to just tell ourselves the truth. I'm already very impressed. We know him on Eureka Moments, but you've gotten to know much more, and it doesn't take you just waking up one morning to be in all of that. So we want you to tell us, sir, Eureka Moments are those moments of discovery, a turning point in your life, a time where you realize something special. I know there might be a couple of them, but like, how many would you like to share with us today?
Maybe 1, 2, or 3, but then you know that sometimes Eureka is not just a burst of excitement. Sometimes you get your Eureka from places of pain, places of difficulty, places of challenge, which shape you, strengthen you, and make you redirect and refocus your life. But the great watersheds in my life have been, number one, when I discovered at the age of 3 or 4 that I was asthmatic. Okay, I discovered by pure accident. I think I had overeating at some party, and I just couldn't breathe very well. And once I discovered that and I realized what it is, it shaped the way in which I managed myself, and it helped me to become body and mind sensitive. The second Eureka moment will probably be when I decided to go to a school called King's College from my primary school, and I was encouraged to go to King's College by 3 people. Number one, 2 friends, 2 elderly friends who went to King's College. You won't know them, but a gentleman called Dele Oreduba, who was my godmother's son, so was 6 years older than me, and another guy called Bankole Aluko, great lawyer, SAN, passed on about 12 years ago. They both were my, if you like, the childhood people you looked up to. They both went to King's College. Okay. And then, of course, my brother, Aswe. We were both inspired by them at the same time to try and go to what they considered the best school in Nigeria, and we had no regrets because we did go there. The third one was, of course, when I decided to go to England from ISI for my university degree. But in between that was a discussion I had with my father, my late father, Chief Jeremiah Ighodalo, who himself was practicing accountant, and when we were talking about career, And I said to him I wanted to be a businessman, just to make money and just to be very valuable. He then said to me, consider having a profession. And I said, which profession? Well, if you want to do business, accounting is a good profession. Maybe because he was in that profession and he wanted his son to be there, but also very sound advice, because it's a profession closest to financial management. And so I decided to become a chartered accountant and not a lawyer, which a lot of people thought I should be, mainly because a lot of people were going into law. And I thought that accounting would suit my business interests better. And then, of course, as I said, when I went to England, and then when I joined Pricewaterhouse, and then when I started my own business, and then accounting practice, those were Eureka Moments. But perhaps one of the most fundamental ones was when I became born again, around 1993. It wasn't by choice or decision, it was through pain. I'd been through so much in life, tried so hard, failed so much, and I knew that there was something missing, there was something wrong in my life. And my mother began to pray for me and believe God that I would give my life. She had become born again. And somehow or the other, around my 31st or 32nd birthday, she came to spend time with me, and we were praying together, and finally I told her that there was a correlation between prayer and how I felt the next day, and I gave my life to Jesus Christ. And since then there's been no turning point, or sorry, I beg your pardon, no turning back. The final Eureka moment for the purposes of this interview was a mixture of 2 or 3 things when I had to leave the Redeemed Christian Church of God, which eventually led to our starting Trinity House. Was about a 1-year period of sincere pain and confusion, but turned out to be a turning point, a major turning point, and a great painful Eureka moment. And we've been together at Trinity House for about 6 years now, and God has really helped us. So by and large, those have been significant milestones in my life. There are other minor ones, but let's not go into those ones at this time.
Talking about, because you started all the way from when you were 3 years old, and that's like all the way from the back, but are there any particular seasons in your life where you felt like you just didn't know what next to do, and then you found out, okay, this is what I need to do, and then you did it, and it actually led to a breakthrough or some level of success, where you moved from one level of success to another level of success? Probably a time in your life that you, for example, didn't have a car, and then that you were just, I'm just giving an example of maybe flying buses and all that, and then all of a sudden success comes in because of a decision that was made, and then your status changed.
Well, like I said, when I left Pricewaterhouse in '85, we started business with a friend of mine, and we were doing business together. As I said, remember, I didn't really want to practice. I wanted to do business. And my going into the profession was just to get the qualification, as based on my father's advice. So we started business together. We're doing computers and we're doing video, and so on and so forth. We had a video library. We had a video documentation company called VideoServe, and we also had a computer sales company and training company way back in 1985-86, when there were very, very few computers, both desktop and laptop in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, my friend at the time was probably one of the first people to discover the Apple Macintosh computer that has taken over printing in all over the world today. We're doing well, okay, struggle, tough, difficult, but he and I had a little bit of disagreement, and I had to leave the company. At that time I was using a company car, and the car I was dispossessed of the car. I had a driver, no car, and I had to go back home to my apartment, and for about 2 weeks I didn't know what to do, until one day somebody knocked on my door and said, I hear you're an accountant. I said, yes. He says, well, my brother needs an accountant. And that is how my accounting practice started, okay? I then decided to go back to what I had been trained for, and that's where my father's advice became very invaluable, because I didn't know what to do. I had no capital, I had nothing. So that's how my accounting practice started. And in respect and honor of my father, I called it Ighodalo, Ighodalo and Co. To piggyback on his years of experience and also to honor him for that advice. I later changed the name after about 10 years to Ighodalo and Co. just because it was simpler, but that is how we started, Ighodalo, Ighodalo and Co. We just formed the company, registered it, looked for a few shareholders, blah, blah. So I formed a shelf finance house. And ironically, as the devil would have it, set me up. A few people began to put money in my hands, plus all the little savings I had. And what we did then was what you call just place money here and there. So I placed some of the money in other finance houses, got what we call upfront interest, invested some of the money with a friend of mine who was doing cocoa and coffee. And one night I went home thinking I was very rich, very successful, making upfront interest and returns from cocoa. The next night I woke up to discover that one of the finance houses called Forum, one of the most bullish ones, okay, had suddenly collapsed, and almost everybody, either directly or indirectly, had some money in Forum. Because I lent money to you, you lent money to somebody, the person put some of that money in this Forum finance house, and the domino effect came back on all of us. Plus, the gentleman I did cocoa with teamed and leaded and ended up spoiling our money. Wow. Let me put it that way. A good friend of mine, he ended up spoiling our money. So I woke up one day and I discovered that I was owing a lot of money, almost overnight. My money, everything I had put in there, and other people's money that they had trusted me with. And my integrity would not let me rest. So I became extremely broke. It was one of the most painful periods of my life. I didn't know what to do. People were chasing people with police. This is one of the things that led to the rise of the NCPC, sorry, the ICPC. Okay, they now gave back to the EFCC. Okay, Financial Crimes Commission or whatever it was, and people were chasing people up and down. People were committing suicide. Some people were dying. A lot of people ran away from Nigeria. They became exiles. Even some of them till today are not yet back in this country. Since that time, a few people have managed to come back, but life has not been the same for them. Okay, so I had to begin about 2-3 years of sincere confusion, not knowing what to do. But eventually I just faced my accounting practice, and every single kobo I made from that accounting practice and one or two other transactions that I did, I put it back to pay all the debt until I was able to pay virtually all the debt, with some of my creditors eventually forgiving me. You know, in between I became pastor to some of them, and it's got to pursue your pastor for money. So one or two of them forgave me for that until I became totally debt free. But it took me about 5 years. 5 years. It took a lot out of my life, and I would say that I have perhaps not really, to be honest, fully recovered from that time. You know, when you can't think, you can't plan, you're just working to pay debt and so on and so forth. You know, but we thank God for the experience, because it's one of the things that make one able to deal with all sorts of problems. You know, I'm one pastor that has learned both through learning and reading and through experience. There's almost nothing in life that I have not experienced or been part of, aside from physically dying myself. You know, I've been very ill at various times. I've had to cope with drug addiction, not mine, but one or two people here and there. So I know how it is when someone is a little bit addicted to drugs. One of my good friends been addicted for about 40 years. Finally by God's grace, sometime this year, was able to get rid of a 40 or 42-year addiction. But he was only able to do that because I had experience of dealing with other people, and I knew that this is a spiritual thing, that's a long haul thing. A lot of people come to me when they are down and out financially because I have the stripes of coping with financial failure, and I'm able to help them, prevent them from suicide, and so on and so forth, and encourage them because I know that it always comes to pass. Whatever comes up will come down. And sooner or later there will be a turnaround. Yeah. So I'm a pastor with experience and pain. So I'm a very, very empathizing pastor, very, very sympathetic, very, very understanding. And some people even think I'm too tolerant. But I know what it is to be down there. And that's, everything that happens to you in life, if you can learn the lessons, is always a benefit to yourself and to other people.
I want to ask one question, sir. Talking about the place where you said you became born again and you realized the place of prayer, did that spiritual turn have any impact as regards your success in life or your achievements in life? Did it affect anything, or was it just a spiritual part of your life separately from you as a successful businessman? Or was there any connection?
If I have any success today, and I'll say success in measured terms.
Yes, sir.
But success is a process, not a destination.
True, sir.
And a lot of people might look at me as success, but I don't think so. I think I'm just on a journey. But everything has stemmed from my spiritual foundation. Like I said, up until 93, life was almost a meaningless struggle for me. I seem to have success. I had an accounting practice. I had about 50 staff. I had about 8 cars within the organization. 2 or 3 of my managers, I had bought vehicles for them. I had 3 or 4 personal cars I was using. I had 2 drivers, I had a good apartment in Yaba, and so on and so forth. And because I wasn't born again, I had all the trappings, the ladies and everything. In those days, at least 60% of the serious parties of bachelor's in Lagos happened through my organization, and some of them in my apartment, because I was a bachelor, the place was open and free. So socially I was extremely successful, but deep down inside and financially and emotionally I was a wreck. In those days I'll make money, and within a few months I will be broke again. Then I'll make money, then I'll be broke again. So my life went like a yo-yo, like that, and I had no real assets. But most importantly, I was empty inside. Okay, and I knew that life couldn't be like that. And gradually I now realized I was slipping into depression. So when people are depressed, I understand it, because I also have been there. You look at me outside and think I'm okay, but deep inside, there's a rage. Mrs. Obama said once, they asked her, how is it in the White House? She says, I'm like a duck on water. And I can relate to that.
Probably people lost their lives, even those that are physically alive, but in forms of living, they're probably not alive anymore. Maybe never could recover from it, and you're here today. Just like the example you gave about Michelle Obama, a duck on water. A lot of people would see you and probably think there was never any pitfalls or any massive mistakes or anything. It was just a bed of roses from day one all the way down to where you are today, sir. Well, it's been a wonderful one. I just want you to give a word to probably people that are successful but are facing a few challenges. And then there are a lot of young people, a lot of aspiring people hoping to get to that place they call success, because we can measure success in different ways, or you can say the place of fulfillment. What would you like to say to them, sir?
Number 1, give your life to Jesus. Okay? And that's a very simple thing. Just go to God and tell this God that you want to have a close relationship with Him. You want to be led by Him. You want to be directed by Him. You want to serve Him. And you want Him to please help you. It's very simple. whatever faith that you have, go to this God and say, this is what you want. I'm a Christian, and I believe very much in Christianity. So if you're not sure about which faith is correct, also say to God, tell me which faith is correct. Tell me, and let me assure you that if your heart is open, the Lord will tell you. Because He's done it for quite a few people. He did it to me. I didn't believe in all these things. I didn't believe in speaking in tongues. I didn't believe in all that sort of stuff. But I just said, God, show me. Before I got here, I considered many other faiths, I will tell you. But eventually, the Lord showed me and proved to me without any iota of doubt that Christianity is the way. But I'm open. Everybody's my friend. And let everybody discover by themselves, by asking within their own heart the right question to this being that is up there. That's number one. Number two, discover yourself, who you are, and what your character is. One of the things the Bible says that to thyself be true. Discover yourself. Some people self-deceive, and then they deceive others and deceive the world. You can fool some people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time, and you cannot deceive yourself. Okay, and that being up there knows who you are. So discover yourself, who you really are, what your gifting is, what your interest is, what you are passionate about. Number three, have a vision. Have a clear vision of what you would like to achieve in life, and also what you'd like to be remembered for, because this life is very short, and very soon you'll be on your way somewhere else. So what would you like to achieve in life, and what you'd like to be remembered for? But please remember that success or achievement is not made of the collection or abundance of the things that you have. Because anything that you have physically, you are just a temporary custody of it. You've met it here, you are going to leave it here. What is outstanding is what you can sow or put into other people's lives. That's what never dies, what never fails. Okay? So a lot of people think that it is property and acquisition thereof that signifies success or achievement in life. No. Those things are tools to help you do other things. Maybe live a comfortable life, maybe help others, maybe make a statement or the other. They are not anything in themselves. But the most important thing in life is to fulfill the purpose of the Creator for your life. That's the most important thing. And that is really what success is, or what I call being significant. To fulfill the purpose of the Creator for your life. Therefore, it means that for you to live a significant or successful life, you must know your Creator. The Bible says, remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Okay, while you still have the energy to do something. That's a paraphrase. Okay, it says before you get old and you can no longer function properly. Every day you are getting old and older. Okay, and then so you therefore need to discover that purpose, and then to fulfill it. If you are able to fulfill God's purpose for your life, then indeed you are successful. Doesn't matter if you have resource or not. A good example is Mother Teresa. Okay, she's Catholic or was Catholic, but there's no doubt, okay, that she achieved to a large extent the purpose of God for her life. She may have missed one or two things, I don't know. That's between her and God. But clearly, she did. But I don't know if she owned any house or any car or anything. She lived as a nun, okay? But she was dining with heads of state, okay? So she had access, she had resource, she had name, she had fame, she had sufficient comfort to make her happy, and she lacked nothing. What more do you want?
Absolutely. That's a good definition of success.
Okay? Yeah. What more do you want? Okay? That's why it's very interesting to see Bill Gates now, okay, with all his wealth, now wanting to give back. Because something inside is telling him that this money is meaninless if you can't make an impact in life. Okay? And he's probably enjoying better making an impact than even enjoy making money. Yeah, he must have enjoyed making money, but now he's having a lot more fulfillment, I'm sure, making an impact in life. And really, I pray that he's on the right trajectory for his own life, because that's really all what life is about. Spend some time making money if you can. Spend a lot more time helping other people with the money that you have made. Okay? Creating employment is helping people. Using some of that money to invest in other places is helping people. Using some of that money to help people to go to school, to pay their medical bills, to heal and help themselves is also using the money wisely. Okay? The Bible says that what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his whole soul? Okay? All right? And what the Bible discipline says that what is the price of a soul? What is the cost of helping somebody to be a better person? You know, a person's soul is worth more than all the resource in the whole wide world. So if I am able to help you become a better person, I am more valuable than the richest person in the world.
Wow. That's inspiring. Absolutely different definition to that particular scripture. I've never heard it or seen it in that manner before. Thank you so much, sir. I've been inspired. I'm sure you have been inspired. He's shared very deep parts of his life that even I didn't know before. So obviously, I'm going back from here very inspired. Thank you, sir, out of your tight schedule. We thank you for the honor and the privilege to have you on the show. It's Eureka Moments, and we hope that you have learned something that would help you go ahead somewhere at some place in your life. Till next episode, keep it together. Thank you.